I can see Ehsan, who's a fourth year EC engineering student from Hyderabad. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It's fantastic to have you all on board. I can see Manoj has joined from Delhi. I can see Jaganathan is joining from Bangalore, and a lot of introductions coming in. So please do introduce yourself from the chat here. We would love to know where are you joining us from and your name as well. Sometimes we're not able to make out your name from your email ID, so that's why. And why not network a bit before we start this event free interview prep masterclass. So before we start, let me just quickly take you through the ground rules we have here. So if you have any question for our speaker here today, who's Amanpuri has already joined us, you can put down your questions in the Q&A box. The session is being recorded. In case you want to go through the recording of the session again, you can expect a follow-up email with recording link, webinar certificate, and also bonus offer for attending the webinar. Now, what exactly is the bonus offer here? So the bonus offer is for the program, which we'll be talking about by IIT Guwahati towards the end of the session. And you will be getting a bonus offer for attending this webinar. So that's pretty interesting. In case you want to request a proof of attendance for this webinar, you can enter your full name in the post-webinar survey. So you can do that. So that is the name that will be going into the webinar certificate. So please do help us with that in case you're looking for the webinar certificate of this event. And also, this program is powered by Simplilearn, our world's #1 online bootcamp. We are very proud that we have been transforming lives by empowering people via digital skills in over last 13 years here. And we have advanced over 5 lakh plus careers. We have been in basically over 150 plus countries. We have 800 plus qualified trainers. We have categories of courses ranging from AI, machine learning, data science, business analytics, cybersecurity, cloud computing, DevOps, project management, and many more categories which we have in the section. So let me quickly take you through the agenda. And once again, welcome everyone. I saw a lot of introductions coming in while I was just quickly taking you through the ground rules here. And once again, welcome everyone. So I'm Rasha Khan. I'm your host for today's webinar. And I'm really excited to be here and loving your introductions which are coming on chat. Folks who have just joined us just right now, we are just starting the session. You have joined just right on time, and we'll be going through the agenda of the session now. So we'll be starting with getting to know a little bit more about you, how we can help you out in your career, and we'll be taking you through the interview prep masterclass, where you can learn the winning formula to ace cloud DevOps interview with FAANG companies. Then we'll be taking you through the program introduction of IIT Guwahati's Cloud Plus DevOps program, and also the enrollment steps of the program. So in case you have any questions for folks who have just joined right now, you can put down your question in the Q&A box. We'll try to take as many questions as possible, but this is an interview prep sort of webinar. So I think we'll focus on the speaker here who actually will have a lot of things to share with you. So before we start, I just have a quick poll question for you. As I told you that we'll be getting to know a little bit more about you before we start. So I'll just launch this quick poll here where we would love to know how many years of experience do you currently have. Now, when I talk about experience here, I am talking about work experience in general. So you can see 4 quick options here. The first one is currently studying, second one 0 to 3 years of experience, third one 3 to 5 years of experience, and the last one more than 5 years from now. So folks who have just joined right now, we are just starting the session and we're starting with getting to know a little bit about you. So we would love to know how many years of experience do you currently have. So this gives us a better idea about, folks who are joining us come from very different experiences. So that's pretty interesting actually. This will give us an idea as well. Basically, in which direction to take the interview web masterclass as well. The speaker will have a better idea about the kind of experience you folks have. Awesome. Someone has replied on the chat as well, so that's great. I'll just give 10 seconds more because as I was speaking, folks have already shared the responses of the poll here, most of them. So that's great. We have gotten a really active set of folks here. So I think I'll just give 10 seconds more for the poll here before we move on. Okay. I think a lot of new folks are joining in right now. We are just starting the session and we're just doing a quick poll here just to know how many years of experience do you currently have. So I think I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here because I see most of the folks have already shared their responses. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you. So thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So as we can see that 47% of the folks who have joined us have more than 5 years of experience. 28% of the folks have 0 to 3 years of experience, and 16% of the folks are currently studying. 8% of the folks have 3 to 5 years experience. So a lot of experienced folks here. That is all. That is all I can see. So thank you so much again for sharing that with us. Now moving on, as I mentioned earlier that we already have our speaker here with us, Aman Puri. So Aman first of all would like to welcome you to the interview prep masterclass, and would like to thank you for taking the time out and basically taking us to this interview prep masterclass. We are very excited for the session here, and would love to know your introduction for the crowd here.
Thank you so much, Rasha. I hope I'm audible to the quorum here.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Hi, so I hope everyone's doing well. I was very surprised to see that there are a lot of, I generally see a lot of freshers in this, but it's also good to see a lot of experienced folks also coming into this. And generally, I don't see anyone above or below me because I believe that we are, after all, IT tech folks, and it's just about, just getting to collaboration, and will always give some learning opportunities to each other. So really glad to know about that. So just giving my introductions. My name is Aman Puri. I'm a cloud consultant at Google. I generally have more than around closing to 6.5 years of experience now. Generally, I have been more into developing cloud solutions in AWS, Azure, and obviously Google Cloud Platform. And I started my role as a systems engineer, which generally, if most of the folks who might know in the quorum, generally means handling on-prem infrastructure or those kinds of things. But then I started to move to my career to cloud, and then rest is history with me. And yeah, that's and just I'm trying, and more of my core expertise comes into the cloud and the more DevOps pieces, which generally, is actually the subject of the day. But yeah, I'll be glad to let you know about that, right? So yeah, glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Aman, for the introduction, and once again, welcome to the session. So I think we'll be starting with the interview prep masterclass here, where we'll be covering how you can learn the winning formula to ace cloud DevOps interview with FAANG companies. With our expert speaker here, Aman Puri. And before we start, I just have a quick poll question for you to understand why are you attending this webinar today. So let me just quickly launch this poll here. This is a very quick poll where we would like to understand why exactly are you attending this interview prep masterclass today. So you can see 4 quick options here, which basically are multiple choice questions. So you can select multiple options here because there can be multiple reasons for attending this webinar today, right? So as you can see, I'll just read out these options for you. So the first one is to enhance my skills specific to cloud DevOps positions. Second one, master effective strategies for answering cloud DevOps related questions. Third one, tailor my responses to diverse cloud plus DevOps interview types. And the last one, navigate challenging cloud DevOps scenarios and impress potential employees. So that is definitely important. So as I was speaking, as I've mentioned earlier, that we have gotten a really active set of folks here. So as I speak, we actually already see the poll responses here filling in. So I feel like I see that folks are really excited for the class, Aman. So they are really interactive here, and they actually are responding pretty quick. So that's great. And folks, yeah.
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I've mentioned earlier, that folks who have just joined pretty late, if you have any questions for our speaker here, we'll try to cover it during the session. But this is an interview prep masterclass, so it will be mostly about the interview prep masterclass. So I think most of the folks have already shared responses here for the poll. So let me quickly end the poll here in 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you, Aman, and for everyone to see. So as we can see, we have gotten 84% of the votes for enhance my interview skills specific to cloud DevOps positions. And 55% of the votes are for master effective strategies for answering cloud DevOps related questions. 29% is for tailor my responses to diverse cloud DevOps interview types. and 40% is for navigate challenging cloud DevOps scenarios and impress potential employees. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, folks. That definitely gives us a better understanding on why exactly you are attending the interview prep masterclass today. So now let's go ahead with the interview prep masterclass on how basically learn the winning formula to ace cloud DevOps interview to basically with FAANG companies. So before we start, I think, Aman, let's talk about career paths in cloud and DevOps. So as you can see, there are so many career paths folks can take up in cloud and DevOps, right? But I think I will start with like for someone who's completely coming from a different background, and there's always a dilemma, right? Where do you start? Where do you start? Which career do you take up? There are so many careers. So maybe you can give us some understanding on where they can start with, and also maybe take us through few of the career paths here to start with.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, right? And this is something I relate to myself because while I did had some experience of handling infrastructures, I cloud was definitely new to me. But I'm talking this is something during pre-COVID, right? I essentially, and maybe that was a luck for me that I just joined to a cloud-based role, and that was just when the COVID hit, and that is when the whole cloud business boomed like anything. And that was when, companies, organizations, education facilities, every organization from small to large to enterprise, they felt the need to go with cloud, right? Yeah. So that's just an itch of it, like how the cloud expertise come into this place. Now when you talk about switching to a cloud career, especially either you are a fresher just coming out of college, or you might have some expertise in some other roles like software development, or maybe you might have been an infrastructure expert like me, or maybe a systems expert into this. There are many options at that time to look into this, right? So generally, when you talk about those roles, you need to map to the right roles into this. Now, how do you map it? Now, for example, can I consider a role for a cloud architect if I'm just moving as a person who is new to cloud? The answer is no. Why? Because when you talk about cloud architect, it means that you are essentially architecting solutions to customers. That requires a huge amount of cloud experience. And obviously, with someone who has already got a steep learning curve and getting better strategies into this. So the best ways would be to start with, engineering or administration roles that generally come with cloud, right? Where you have to generally start with, developing basic solutions, for in this case. Now, in that, there are many verticals into this. If you are coming from an infrastructure background where you have managed on-prem based infrastructure, then in that case you go generally into a cloud administration role or an infrastructure cloud engineer roles that generally are the static roles that you generally come into it, or in cloud support roles also. Many people may seem, oh, why should I go into the support roles, because that's just like starting into this case. But that is actually the best way or the best jump start you can have into your career into clouds, because when it comes to support, when there is fire that's happening, you actually get to know how each of the basic cloud functions works, how cloud actually works, how the basic pieces work into this case. And generally, even in the fresher roles, they ask for cloud support roles, or maybe just with another 1 or 2 year roles or something like that. But that's one ways of doing it. Another options would be, if let's just say you're from a development background, right? Then there are cloud engineers or cloud developers they generally go with. There you will start learning about how to create cloud native based applications, or how to set up those kinds of things into this case. And then obviously comes the DevOps piece, which does takes a little bit of experience on both infrastructure and development, because that's what DevOps means, right? It means that you need to have the development skills and you need to have infrastructure skills. That might be hard to jumpstart as a fresher, but as I said, for the prior two roles, if you start with some basic cloud developer or cloud support or cloud administration, I think that's generally a jump start. And as your experience goes by, you maybe want to become a specialist in security, maybe you want to become an architect or a DevOps expert. You generally start to get it once you just start with these starting small roles. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aman, for taking us through that. As we have covered the career paths here, we can also talk about the skills here. You basically, you need to be a cloud practitioner here. As you can see, there are so many skills here. Again, the same dilemma, right? Right? Where do you start? Where do you get started? So maybe you can share a comment on that as well.
Yeah. So generally what happens is when we see the number of options that you need, people generally get intimidated with that. Oh my God, there's a lot of things to learn. So what should I start with, right? So you just don't have to become like the jack of all and the master of nothing, right? You can take up a select set of skills, maybe start with, the foundational learnings, like as I told you about, infrastructure, right? Uh, so if you are an infrastructure expert, you generally have certifications like the AWS cloud practitioner, or you got the Azure cloud fundamentals, or you got the Azure administrator certification, or you got the Google cloud digital leader or associate cloud engineer roles. Certifications generally become a very good jump start of starting and learning in the clouds. When you start taking any courses or just start learning into it, you actually learn about how the foundational things or the fundamental things of cloud learn into this. Now, yes, that will definitely help you to get up to date skills to be a cloud practitioner. And when you actually, and this actually benefits more in cases as a fresher, but because what happens is that if you want to move into some kind of a support role or administration role, these kinds of things are a good jump start to go with, right? And this is one of the reasons, these options that you're seeing. You talk about database management, you could talk about storage services. Someone I think even posted a question about database management. Yes, there are certain even roles involved, where you have to be a database administrator, but that database administration involves in cloud also as well, right? And you just need to just know the fundamentals. And sometimes if you already have those database skills, if you've already been experienced into this, it is not too hard to go into a cloud database admin role as well. So yeah, so everything when you talk about cloud starts with something that you have learned which was non-cloud, something like in infrastructure or development or database or even fundamental storage in this cases, right? Cloud is basically nothing but someone else's computer. That's just the simple term of it. So if you already have those fundamentals set up, then it's just a matter of understanding the cloud fundamentals, and you should be golden after that. Then you will start to get a pace and understanding into this. And that's just the all the days of it. And whatever the options that you see here, every fundamental touches upon it, at the start. So yeah, that's the whole gist of it.
Thank you so much. That sounds pretty interesting. The skills you can take up to be a cloud practitioner. Thank you so much for taking us through that. Now, let's talk about preparing for the interview here. So as we can see, the first slide basically shows the setting the stage for success here. So I think before we start even talking about the interview prep here, for the next 15 minutes, Aman would like to know your interview experience as well with Google.
Okay, you're actually trying to hit the bullseye here, but yeah, sure. So one of the and I'll start with something with negative, not negative actually, but something that is a learning, I would say. One of the things that people generally make a mistake, and that is actually written in the point of researching and understanding, is finding the ideal job role. That is somewhere people always get tipsy on what exactly the job role there should be, right? And it is not just only about the skills, right? It's also about what level of experience are they wanting on, what are the tool requirements they wanting on, and does your experience or your understanding of technologies, if you're just graduating from college or something, or if you have had a share of experience, could match up with these roles into these cases, right? So generally that research thing is very, very important in this case, and because if you do not take the right role and the right job offer, or you could say the job role opportunity that is being provided with the right amount of experience and the right skills needed, which is not reflected in the resume that you provide, you will be rejected at just the resume screening level itself. So that's one thing that you need to see into this, right? And when I say resume, it does not just means resume, or as a resume, it also means social media profiles like LinkedIn. Trust me, if you are very much active on LinkedIn and just posting good technical stuff and having a good technical profile into this, recruiters will approach you with offers, and that also includes the finding recruiters, because that's how I got a job offer. I did not even apply for my role, by the way. I was approached by a recruiter based on my LinkedIn profile, and they had mailed me, and then that's how I got the interview over there. So applying is definitely one way into getting into the interviews with them, but showcasing a good profile, recruiters are always searching for opportunities or for folks over there. So it's very important to take advantage of the new ways recruiters are looking for you. For example, as I talked about LinkedIn, to always showcase the best possible into this, but it also needs to map with what you have. That actually, even that's something that I pretty much covered about the second point, that is tailoring about you know your resumes and your achievements into this. Networking, referrals, yes, very important. uh I will not say personally myself I have gotten any benefits into having someone into reference into this, but definitely having connectivity is really helpful, because I've seen a lot of my colleagues, they have gotten in because of good references, good networking, and various insights or opportunities that you see within these. And if I have a good connectivity with folks on these kind of options in this case, right? So that's generally one of the things that you need to know. And yep, you need to stay updated. It's basically like having an information about the new mobile that is coming and launching every month. You have to be updated with your latest skills. If let's just say that you're choosing a path for GCP or AWS or Azure, you know the good thing and the bad thing about cloud is, or even technology as a thing is, nothing is permanent. Everything is just getting updated, in a matter of days, weeks, minutes, months, right? So that's the boon and the curse of the whole thing, that you have to stay updated and stay informed about what are the new things that's happening, with the cloud and all these things, like, how people were being focused on, the AI stuff that has been coming, and what are the massive tools coming in. So in that way also, you need to be relevant. To be relevant, you have to be updated into those technologies. And the last thing that comes is definitely preparation is key. But when you talk about preparations, and now I'm talking something about the interview experience, because I promised Rasha I would say that this, when you talk about preparations is key, is just learning about a particular tool is the only preparation? The answer is no. Learning tools is definitely one way of understanding of, if you have experienced into this, or you have learned into tools, or you have learned the different tools or different experience into this. But the other thing that you need to know is that you also need to have an analytic approach. So what does that mean? That means that, if let's just say that I give you a solution that, hey, there is this thing that's not getting viral, anything like some service or some product, it's not getting viral, and I will just ask you what are the possible reasons that it's not getting viral, and what could be the best ways of making it viral, or what could be the better improvements into this, right? It's a very vague question to ask. Right now you might find this question very vague. That's where the challenge comes. The answer can be vague, but the answer has to have an analytic approach. That is not, there is no correct answer to these kinds of questions. You have to also have an analytic approach that see that, okay, you there is this way, or maybe some piece of the product may not be working, and you just you try to maybe integrate it with your chatbots or something like that. I'm just giving some random examples like this. So why am I saying this to you is because with this, what it helps the interviewer to understand is, it helps to understand that how much this guy can think. Because when the person or anybody who's working in the cloud role will have to work with the potential customers, they will always have to have an out of box thinking, to provide solutions to the customers. So it will not just be only tool focused. There's also a lot of strategy thinking. There's a lot of, you know, uh, ways or means on how to do into this. So you have to have that open mind of thinking about what these things are this. And this is generally what companies like Google even ask. And personally, when I experienced that, and that's one of the base very helpful keys. And forget even about FAANG companies, even other companies also requires this kinds of approach. So yeah, that's actually generally what they want to think about. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aman, for sharing your experience. I think we have talked about how you can set the stage for success here, or for preparing for the interviews. I think let's move on to the technical part of the interviews here. So, navigating the technical evaluation here. I think that is the most important round also for clearing the interview, right? Maybe you can share your thoughts here as well and experiences.
So my response to this is very similar to what I just said before, right? When you talk about coding challenges, okay, yeah, good. You have that skills of coding. You have that, you may know Java, you may know .NET, you may know Python, you may know any XYZ language that you may know. And definitely that's a plus point. But that is not the only point that the interviewers are looking for. As I said before, when you talk about coding challenges or system designs, you also need to think about the approach. When it comes to coding, it means algorithm design. What is the the logic behind the code that you're using it. So they see these things, right? They see not just your technical knowledge, but they also see the logic with which you're going behind with with this technical solution into this, right? Or what your thought process is. It's all about the thought process. If you talk about technical or you talk about analytical skills, they all involve a thought process, right? You have to have problem solving skills or something like that. Maybe that thing might not be available, but something you're just thinking out of the box, or something that that it is available, but it has to be approached in a different way. Or and the best way to do is always relate to something what you have experienced prior. That has helped me a lot in the interviews. Like if I have if I have faced in my work experience, if I have faced some kind of a problem and I have solved it in that way, always plug that with your interview. Why? Because in that way, the interviewer understands that yes, you may have gone with this kind of approaches even before, and you're thinking into that strategy solve. Obviously it is not always the perfect strategy. People will think that, oh, that's a perfect strategy. No, it's not about the perfect strategy. It's just about a good strategy, or your thought process of how you want to get with these options, or coming into these kind of options. And yeah, I mean, when you talk about there are many tools available to practice coding questions into this. But you also need to understand, when you come to coding questions is not about just typing the code. Coding questions is also about understanding the algorithm or the logic that you will use to solve that use case, right? So that's generally what interviewer sees when you talk about technical skills. Technical skills means that you have learned some good technical stuff, but at the same time, how you are using that technical knowledge as a weapon for solving customer challenges or solving issues, or even internal or customer challenges. So that's generally it's all about into this in that scenario, that case. Rasha, I cannot hear you, my bad.
Sorry. I got on mute. I was saying thank you
No.
so much for taking us through the technical interview tips here. So now we have covered the technical part, and also the how you can set your stage for success here with interview tips of FAANG companies, but also the behavior part also matters, right? How basically you demonstrate your soft skills also matters. So can you share a little bit of tip there as well with us?
Yes, there is always a need of, that behavioral or, you know, which what we say in Google called googliness in your point, right? So what does that mean? It means that, how you are essentially taking the approach. So there is something called as a star method that you see, that is something generally very much being looked into or followed into, how you would you know come to a problem that is coming to you, and how you would solve that approach into this case, right? So because of that, what it helps to see that, now when you talk about behavioral questions means that there's always a conflict of interest or a conflict of thought that you will always receive in your current experiences, right? But the thing is that is to understand that if you have faced any kind of challenges like these, what was your way of tackling those things, right? So, for example, if there was a technical solution which maybe your colleague did not like it, or maybe your colleague felt that, there is a better approach to this. So the best solution is always to meet that common ground where I say that, okay, I am also putting my solution because I feel that this is a better solution, but I will always be open to what the person in front is suggesting. Maybe he has a different perspective of my thought. I will not just be like, oh, I'm better, and you know I don't care about your solution. So that is what the behavioral questions come in general, right? It's about having the diplomatic approach, or you can say the way where you also appreciate or take feedbacks from other persons to improve yourself, as well as understanding their perspectives. And at the same time, you need to even give your perspective as a solutions also, because in that way they will also understand what their thought process is, and they can help you and it's not always that our solution is a good solution, but they can give us a feedback that, okay, what would be the right approach, or the right way to do it in this case. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aman, for taking us through the interview prep tips here for the masterclass, basically how they can learn and ace the cloud DevOps interview with FAANG companies. I think, and I will just take over the program part here. And for folks here, thank you so much for taking the time out and taking us through this interview prep masterclass. And also, in case they have any questions, I will definitely share Aman's link with you in case you want to get, ask any other questions or even follow him up, stay up to date, with what he's doing. So I think I'll just take up the next part of the program here before we move on to the program part here. So once
All
again,
right.
thank you so much, Aman.
Thanks, Rasha, and thanks everyone. I had to keep this short because I had something urgent, but I hope that you got some tips into this, and Rasha will definitely share my details, and yeah, we'll connect, and maybe I can share more details about it. And hoping that we can have another session where I'll be more longer in that. Thank you all.
Definitely. We are looking forward to it, having you more in these webinars and much more, things we can cover in cloud and DevOps from your experience. So thank you so much once again, Aman. And here, as you can see, I've quickly launched a poll, folks, where we have covered about the career paths here, the skills you can take up in cloud computing and DevOps, and also the interview prep tips, how you can learn and ace the FAANG interviews here with Aman Puri. who basically is an expert from Google, but would love to know what is the biggest challenge here when it comes to becoming a cloud computing and DevOps experts here. You're here because you're interested, obviously, to aspire this career. You are thinking about it. So you can see 4 quick options here. This is a multiple choice poll to understand what is the biggest challenge here when it comes to taking up the cloud DevOps career here. So I think as I was speaking, most of the folks have already shared their responses here. So I'll just give 10 seconds more for the poll here before we move on. Also, this is a multiple choice poll question. So you can select multiple options here. In case this poll does not cover your responses, your concern, you can let us know on the chat or in the Q&A box as well. So feel free to do that. So I think I see that most of the folks have already shared responses here. So I'll just quickly end this poll in 5 seconds here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and also share the results with you folks. So let's see what folks have shared as the biggest concern when it comes to becoming a cloud computing DevOps experts here. So as we can see that 37% of the folks have voted for my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. 62% of the vote, which is the highest number of votes you have gotten for, I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And 32% of the folks have voted for, I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. And 16% of the folks have voted for, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now let me quickly take you through the program here by IIT Guwahati, the professional certificate program in cloud computing and DevOps. So a little bit about the program here. This program comes with a comprehensive industry-aligned learning path. You get access to integrated labs and projects for hands-on experience. This is for the folks who have basically shared that I basically cannot get job ready through a program. I don't have that access. So this program provides, and I'll be sharing more about this program by IIT Guwahati in the upcoming slides. The online virtual classrooms you get access to with the live instructor interaction. And this program is of 8 months duration. You can just complete it by giving 10 to 15 hours per week. If schedule and timing is an issue for you, so this program is flexible to fit your schedule. And also the eligibility and prerequisites for the program. So you may be from a non-programming background. It is not a necessary or a required skill to have. If you have a programming knowledge, definitely we cover a few basic things here, which I'll be sharing basically how you develop your skills here through this program. And you need to have a high school diploma or equivalent and at least 18 years of age. You need to be at least that, and no work experience is required to take up this program. So these are the, I think someone asked that if do I need to have some coding or programming language for becoming a cloud computing or DevOps expert. So that basically answers your question. Here, we actually also cover a lot of these skills step by step. So this program builds your cloud DevOps skills step by step. Let me quickly take you through these steps here. So here, the induction session for Cloud Computing Bootcamp happens. And once we go ahead with the foundations and preparatory module here for AWS and Azure, then we move ahead for AWS Cloud Fundamentals, and then we move ahead by covering AWS Solutions Architect. And then we move on to Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator, AZ104. And then we move ahead to designing Microsoft Azure Infrastructure Solutions, AZ305. So this is all covered in the program step by step. And then we move on to the DevOps on AWS. And then you get to work on a cloud computing bootcamp capstone project. So we'll be talking about the capstone project and other projects in the upcoming slides, which basically gets you job ready. But here the electives come as a part of the program, but they are optional. So here the electives are from IIT Guwahati's Cloud Computing Academic Masterclasses, which you get access to. The office hours and the project hours, and also the generative AI masterclass as a part of the program, which basically builds your cloud DevOps skills step by step. So the electives, again, like about the electives, they come as a part of the program. They are optional. We do not charge anything extra for that. So you can basically take it up as per your interest. And the tools and platforms we'll be covering in this program are Amazon EC2, Amazon Dynamo, DB, AWS Lambda, Amazon S3, and many more tools and platforms which will be covered in the program. I'll be sharing the link towards the to the program in shortly, so you can have a look at it, thorough look at it as well. So the capstone project which I talked about earlier. So the capstone project mimic real life business scenarios for true experiences, which you can showcase in your portfolio to showcase to your future employees. This definitely helps for someone who's coming from a non-cloud computing or DevOps background to show a real-time experience through this capstone project. You can choose one project out of several domains here. This basically involves solving real-world business requirements with hands-on experiences. So the capstone projects provide really great example of your work if you basically are getting out there and trying to land the job of your dreams here. So and the industry-based hands-on projects you get to work on for your portfolio. The projects which we cover here are deploy a multi-timer web app using Amazon SQS, deployment of a multi-cloud app, Azure and AWS connection architecture through a VPC. We actually have done all of these project demo masterclasses as well, to give you an overview of these projects. What happens. I'll share share those webinar links where you can check out the other webinars which we do, and check out the old ones as well in the chat in some time. So we also have global leaders as program advisors here. Dr. Gaurav Trivedi, who is associate professor in the IIT Guwahati, and basically he is a part of Tripoli and principal investigator in the ENICT Academy. He makes sure that Simplilearn is delivering as per IIT Guwahati standard. Moving on, I think someone asked about the job assist services. Do we help with interview preparation? Do we help with resume prep? Once you are done with the program, so we do that. So here we have job assist services by Talent Inc. here, where you get access to premium resume rabbit job portal, resume review and rewrite service, and also one-on-one interview service as well. So you basically can get access to all of these job assist services by Talent Inc. So here we have covered the basically I've talked about the career skill. We have talked about the program here. We have talked about what tools and platforms you'll be covering in this program. We have talked about how important it is to have some kind of experience to show on your portfolio. Basically, when you're trying to go out there and land a cloud DevOps job of your dreams. So we would love to know if you are interested in enrolling into IIT Guwahati's program in cloud and DevOps. This is a professional certificate program. And also there's a bonus offer for attending this webinar. So you can avail the bonus offer by clicking on yes on the poll here. So I'm just launching this quick poll to understand your interest in enrolling into the program. So you'll be getting a bonus offer for attending this webinar, and you can avail it by clicking on yes here, as per the interest you have in enrolling to the IIT Guwahati's Cloud DevOps Professional Certificate Program. So we'll be talking more about the enrollment steps and program details. I'll be sharing the program link on the chat here. And also, if you have any questions, we will be taking those questions as well. Also, even questions after the webinar. Once you have shared that you're interested in enrolling into the program through this poll, which I'll be keeping live for the next 15 seconds. As I'm speaking, I see a lot of interest coming towards enrollment. So that's great. Also, not to forget that we have a bonus offer for attending this webinar, which you can avail by showing us that your interest in this poll here. And also, I'll be sharing the link to the program here as well, because I know that folks have joined also from different countries. So I'll just share the link to the program here as well. So you can check out the professional certificate program in cloud computing and DevOps by ENICT Academy, IIT Guwahati. And we would love to know your interest through this quick poll here, which you can see on your screen. Would you like to enroll into the professional certificate program in cloud computing and DevOps by ENICT Academy, IIT Guwahati? Also, we would be also getting to know your interest. Basically, when do you plan to enroll? So the bonus offer stands still even after 6 months. So if in case you have not planned to join the upcoming cohort immediately, so we have more cohorts, which come throughout the year. So you basically can use that bonus offer as well for attending another cohort, which is basically will be upcoming in the next 3 to 6 months as well. So I'll be asking that as well, that part of the question, just to understand when do you plan to basically enroll. So this will give us a better understanding on when do you plan to enroll into the program, and also avail the bonus offer you'll be getting for attending this webinar. So I think I'll just give 5 seconds more for the poll here. For folks who are still, I can see the polls moving still. I can see a lot of interest coming towards the enrollment side of the program by IIT Guwahati here. For someone, I can see someone, yes, you can enroll after 4 months as well. So that is not an issue. I'll be basically asking that quick poll question as well. When do you plan to enroll? So it will have an option if you basically are not sure that if you want to enroll within 6 months, you can enroll after 6 months and even avail this bonus offer as well. You can start with the cohort which is coming after 6 months as well. So that is completely okay, someone. Awesome. Folks, I think I'll just quickly close this poll in the next 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll, and thank you so much for sharing your interest. I saw a lot of interest coming towards the program. So for folks who have shared their interest, let me quickly take you through the enrollment steps here. So we have 3 simple, easy steps you need to follow. So you need to submit an application to us at askus@simplilearn.net. The next step, the application will be going for a review, and based on the eligibility and prerequisites we have shared with you, you'll be getting a learning consultant call, an offer letter, admission offer letter, based on the details you have submitted once basically your application is reviewed. I'll be sharing that email ID once I'm basically done sharing the program fee and the enrollment schedule. So in case you have any questions, you can always reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net about the program or anything in general if you want to explore other things as well. So here we have the program fee here for the Indian region here. So you can see the program fee for this IIT Guwahati's professional certificate program in cloud computing and DevOps is 1,24,999, including taxes, INR. And I think someone asked about if there is an EMI option as well, available as well. So they would like to offer that. So we do have that. You can just go for financing available as low as 4,254 rupees per month. And also the upcoming cohort for this one, the most recent one, the induction start on 29th of November, and the classes will be starting on 2nd of December. So in case you're planning to basically join like the upcoming cohort, you can basically let us know through this poll. And also I think few of the folks asked that basically if at all, if I plan to join after 4 months, will the bonus offer be valid? Yes, it will be valid. So I've launched a quick poll to understand when do you plan to join. As I mentioned earlier, that a lot of folks have shared interest towards enrollment into the IIT Guwahati's professional certificate program in cloud computing DevOps. We would love to know that how soon do you plan to enroll? So you can see 4 quick options here. You can select the one the most suitable for you. The first one immediately, second one within 3 months, third one within 6 months, and the last one more than 6 months from now. So this will actually give us a better understanding when do we basically reach out to you with the offer letter, when do Simplilearn's learning consultant reach out to you, and also give you a much more detailed walkthrough as required of the program. So I think I'll just, while you are sharing your responses for this poll here, I will also share the email ID which I've mentioned. Basically, if you need any more assistance in enrolling into the program, you can reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net. Also, as I've mentioned earlier, that we do a lot of these webinars throughout the month, these interesting webinars consisting of project demos, resume review masterclass, interview prep masterclass like this one. We do a lot of career sessions, career industry sessions, career trends. So you can basically check out those upcoming webinars here on this particular page. I've shared the link here. Please do check it out in case you are interested in attending more cloud DevOps sessions and other category sessions which we cover as well. So I think folks who have shared their interest towards enrollment, I see that they have already shared the responses for the poll here. How soon do they plan to enroll? So let me quickly end this poll now. And also for folks who have already shared with us, when do you plan to enroll and your interest towards enrollment, we would love to know if you need any assistance in enrolling to the program. So you can see 2 quick options here, yes or no. And this basically will let us know if you need assistance in enrolling into the program. So please choose as per your preference here. Meanwhile, I'll just quickly share the program link once again on the chat here, in case you want to go through the program link here for your own region here as well in much more detail. And as I mentioned earlier, in case you have any questions, you can let us know on this mail which I've shared with you on the chat, ask@simply.net. Also, folks, just to mention that the cohorts which we take up only have 25 to 30 folks per cohort, in order to make sure that you're getting all the attention that is required. And so we have limited seats per cohort also in the program. So I think I can see most of the folks have shared responses for the poll. So once again, thank you so much for sharing your responses with us. We were not able to take all the questions here we have gotten here because it was an interview prep masterclass, and also the speaker had limited time. But we'll be coming up with more such masterclasses. You can check out the link I've shared on the chat here in case you want to explore the other webinars as well. And even the previous webinars, you can find the recordings there as well. So thank you so much once again for joining the session. Thank you. Please do let us know in the post-webinar survey, how did you like the session? And also put down your full name for the webinar certificate of the session. So thank you so much. Thank you.